In the 1940s and 1950s, American society idolized an archetypical figure of masculinity. This man, typically symbolized in the form of the greatest generation, was often envisioned as a robust and assertive leader, galvanized by the crises of war and depression. The societal order then viewed masculinity as a necessary and laudable trait. Men, seen as heroes and leaders, were admired for their strength, independence, resilience, and assertiveness. The 1940s saw American men stand as stalwarts against the backdrop of World War II, leading their countries to victory, bearing the heavy burden of war, and playing a decisive role in world affairs. Meanwhile, the 1950s echoed with a post-war boom, men at the helm of households, providing and safeguarding their families. The aura of masculinity, in this context, was a response to exigencies and a badge of honor. However, the perception of masculinity has shifted dramatically over the decades. From being symbols of strength and assertiveness, men are now, in certain circumstances, denigrated when they exhibit the same traits. Assertiveness has often been rebranded as aggression, leadership as dominance, and independence as emotional unavailability. The societal narrative has pivoted from upholding the virtues of traditional masculinity to criticizing these same traits as elements of toxic masculinity. This transition has primarily been driven by the evolution of economic structures. We now exist in an era that thrives on information, collaboration, and emotional intelligence, key traits that, according to critics of traditional masculine traits, run counter to the rugged individualism, assertiveness, and hierarchical leadership typically associated with the traditional industrial economy. But is this really valid? Critics frequently portray traditional masculinity's assertiveness as detrimental. Yet, when assertiveness is paired with collaborative engagement, it evolves into an effective communication mechanism. Despite the common criticism, leadership is not inherently suppressive. Instead, it acts as a crucial tool in steering teams and communities towards common objectives. Stoicism is a necessary skill to balance ships in choppy emotional seas. The toxic label is itself toxic and misleading, as it miscasts all forms of assertiveness or leadership as inherently harmful. Responding to changing societal views, many American men have opted out of the workforce and from relationships with women, endeavoring to recapture their perception of forfeited masculinity. These men prioritize virtues such as independence, self-determination, and freedom. They argue for a focus on individual needs and desires, rejecting contemporary societal expectations and trends. This stance is not an intentional societal withdrawal, but rather a self-centered approach aimed at restoring balance and maintaining personal autonomy amidst fluctuating norms. Regrettably, this path poses significant challenges to men's capacity to adapt and prosper in contemporary society. For these alienated American men, opting out may provide temporary relief, but it ultimately leads to enduring, harmful consequences. We are indeed at a crossroads in our societal narrative of masculinity. If we fail to acknowledge the value of the inherent masculine traits, strength, resilience, leadership, that have shaped our history and can continue to contribute positively to our society, we risk doing a grave disservice to American society. It is crucial that we guide young men to understand their assertiveness and leadership potential not as toxic, but as vital tools, capable of being used for positive change. Choosing to disregard or vilify these traits rather than educating about their usefulness leads to a significant societal imbalance. This could, in turn, have far-reaching implications on the health and prosperity of society at large for decades to come. Much obliged you hopped on board for this snazzy trip through American life in the 1940s and 1950s, all captured through nifty vintage photographs. If this flick's got your motor running, don't be a square. Click on that jolly bucket of bolts to subscribe to the channel for more top-drawer content just like this.